Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome. Come on into the yard. Yes, this is Sharon DeCoster, and I am here on this wonderful day, this wonderful platform, My Journey to Building a Better You. And yes, you are in for a wonderful show indeed. For those of you that are joining me for the first time, hello, Sharon DeCoster here, coming to you from the wonderful state of North Carolina. This is a platform designed for any of you that desire to be inspired, encouraged, motivated, informed, empowered, you name it. This show is for you. This platform is for you. So thank you for joining me. And of course, if you're returning, you've subscribed, you know what's going on. Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much once again for joining me. Again, Sharon DeCosta here for the My Journey to Building a Better You, a podcast. This is a show that spun off from my nonprofit organization called Building a Better You. Go figure, right? Building a Better You. It is a personal development life skills program for girls. What I do is use fashion as a platform to explore different standards of beauty, promote a healthy body image, and overall improve girls' self-esteem. I offer 4 development programs, workshop series, if you would. The topics range are so wide. It's a wide range. And sometimes it's funny because people say, well, why do you always repeat what you do? Well, because, you may be joining me for the first time, so you can know what you're joining, who you're joining, and the channel that you're on. This is a nonprofit organization that I founded back in 2002. Have been implementing these sessions over the years, different program settings, if you would, for young ladies from all walks of life. So there's no one particular background that you have to come from in order to participate in the program. The topics, again, as I was starting to say, they range anywhere from self-esteem, confidence building, values, goals, goal setting, financial literacy, decision-making skills, peer pressure, bullying. Yes, we're still dealing with bullying today. Can you believe it? Skincare, hair care, body image, fashion, wardrobe, dress for success, putting your best forward. There's so many topics, too many to name. I just gave you a few. And then this past spring, I launched my first book, my first memoir. I'm so excited and blessed and honored and thankful to God for the opportunity that He's given me to sit down and still my mind long enough to write some of my journey, my personal journey that I put in this memoir that tells about some of the ins and outs that I've experienced to create this program for young ladies. And then not only did I launch the personal memoir this past spring, I also launched 4 development workbooks, if you would. And these workbooks include the topics that I mentioned to you and some. So you have to, go on to Amazon.com. You have to visit my website so you can order the books, or order the workbooks, or order my personal memoir. The neat thing about the real touching part of these workbooks is that live girls that have gone through the program, when I say live girls, real girls that have gone through the program when they were like 10, 11, 12, going on up to now grown women, have contributed content, some of their personal words, some of their experiences to these workbooks as well. So this isn't just something that, I'm going into somebody else's catalog or someone else's workbook and pulling information. This is real information, my experiences, some of the girls' experiences, my expertise, if you would, because I have been in this field for quite a bit of time, as I mentioned, since 2002. But I have, an extensive background in personal development, life skills, mentoring, if you would. I'm a certified life coach. My program itself is for girls that are age between 12 to 21, but because I am a certified life coach, I can work with young women older than 21, and you'll see a little bit or hear a little bit of that today, because I have a wonderful email to share with you. And let me go back a little bit. 4 segments that I usually tackle when I come into the yard. I may not get to every one, but they're like 4 different segments for this platform. One of them being Ask Sharon. Yes, Ask Sharon. That's when someone will send me an email and they'll ask me my opinion about what they're actually experiencing. Did I have any sort of feedback or some sort of advice that I can offer? And what I'll do is, of course, I'll respond to the email, but then I'll also I'll take this platform to actually address the question if I feel like it's a question that needs to be heard by the masses, if you would. And then we have the Follow Your Dreams segment. That's the entrepreneur segment. That's when I will invite an entrepreneur into the yard and they will come in and share some of their product, tell us about their entrepreneur journey, tell us about how we can bless them, if you would. I am an entrepreneur. I'm all about, supporting entrepreneurs. So that platform is entitled Follow Your Dreams. And then I have the segment, What's Poppin'? That's the What's Trending segment. That's talking about where, what's going on in the community, what's going on in the fashion world, in the restaurants. I'm a foodie. I love to eat. I love good food. What's going on, what's popping, what's trending. And then of course we have the Walk in Your Authority. It's no secret. I am God is who, hey, he has covered me. He has brought me a mighty long way. One of the things I shared with you from day one is that my mom, pastor, 30 plus years. I lost her a few years ago, but one of the things she used to always say to me is, Sharon, you need to learn how to walk in your authority. You need to know your authority. So that is the segment that I will definitely bring some sort of biblical perspective to my response. I usually will actually incorporate that in the Ask Sharon as well. So yes, this is a wonderful platform, y'all. And then I'll usually at times, I wouldn't say usually every single time, but I'll bring some of the girls back to co-host with me or to do a segment, to be a correspondent for the segment. So today we have a special treat. I have a special treat for you. I have someone that's going to be joining me in the yard for the Follow Your Dream segment. So you have to stay tuned. You have to subscribe. You have to like. You have to share. You have to let somebody know. Sharon DeCosta's in the yard, y'all. And I always say I'm not going to be here for long, but you just never know how good the conversation is to determine how long I will indeed be here. But today I do have a special guest that will come to the yard and join us and tell us about her product as an entrepreneur. So you have to stay tuned, stick and stay. So when I come back, y'all, I'm going to address a question. And this is not the standard or the typical question, but it was a good question. And I said, oh, we have got to talk about it today. And matter of fact, it's so good that I know I'm not going to be able to respond just during this show here. So we're going to have maybe a part 2 and a part 3 on this particular topic. So you have to stick and stay. You have to, again, subscribe. You have to like. And even if you don't, like per se, let someone know that Sharon DeCosta has this platform. And I usually try to come into the yard every weekend and just share and empower and just do what God has called me to do. So, hey, thank you again for joining me. So I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to tackle the Ask Sharon question, and wait till you hear what this question is, y'all. You have to stay tuned. I will be right back with you. And thank you once again, as always, for joining me. Sharon DeCosta is here with you, y'all. Stay tuned. I'll be right back with you. Hey y'all, hello. I'm back. I'm back. Sharon DeCosta's in the yard, y'all. Indeed. All right, so here we go. We're going to go right into it. Again, this is just the first part of it. This is the tip of it. So you have to stay tuned so you can really hear the continued conversation about this topic today. So again, as Sharon, as you can see, that's the segment that we're going to be in right now for the next few minutes. I had a young lady that actually emailed me. Okay, and she's now well, she's going back off to school. She's studying law, so and she's in her early 20s, and she reached out to me, and I know who she is, so that's why this is even more personal for me to even answer and address this question. But she reached out to me because she was getting ready to go back to school, and she was this is what the email says. Okay. So, hi, Miss Sharon, you know, um, college student getting ready to go back off to school in Philadelphia. And I said Philadelphia, but that's, not necessarily. She's a law major, and she had set in her mind that when she returned back to school this semester, that she wanted to lose her virginity. And I was like, oh Lord. So I'm reading like, oh Lord. She said she wanted to lose her virginity, Lord. Okay. And she said that it wasn't easy being in school amongst her peers that had already started being sexually active. It wasn't easy for her because she found that she didn't have anything to contribute to some of the conversations that they were having about some of the relations that they were having. And she felt like she really needed to do this for herself because she said, hey, I'm just tired of feeling like I'm the oddball in the room, and I'm just determined that when I go back to school this year, I'm going to lose my virginity no matter what. And I'm like, wow, okay, so we have got to address this because I can only imagine the pressures. And it's not even, and it's funny because I responded to her and she responded back to me. So it wasn't like someone was necessarily pressuring her, like saying, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. She just had this self-inflicted pressure that she put upon herself to feel like, hey, this is what I want to do so that I can actually be a part of the conversation, so that I no longer felt like I was being left out of anything. So I was like, okay, so this is a good question. So I responded to her. Of course, no names are being given. I changed some of the schooling as well. I didn't get into the school name or what have you, but she's, old enough. So like I said, she's going back to school to pursue law. She's now, she already completed her undergraduate degree. And so she's just doing some great things right now. I'm really proud of her. She was actually, her older sister raised her. Okay, I think they lost their parents when they were younger, of course, and so now she's in a space where now she's just needing some additional guidance. And so when her sister actually and I met, she shared some of the ins and outs of what was going on. So I was like, okay. So she reached out to me. So I really appreciated her reaching out to me, but I'm really even more excited about being able to answer this question on this platform. I said to her, and it's really interesting because it's really not easy living as a woman today, just in general, as a human being, if you would, but just speaking for women to a certain degree today, that it's not easy living as a woman today, as a young adult female today, as a single woman today, and even for a married woman. I'm sure that there are some challenges today because society has come to where now everything is based off of how you feel. It's kind of like itchy ears. Tell me what I want to hear. Tell me things that make me feel good. You know Blow my ego up. Make me feel good. Tell me what I want to hear. And if you don't tell me what I want to hear, I'm mad, I'm angry, and I'm acting out, or I'm doing things that would be out of character sometimes for the sake of fitting in. And so in this scenario here, this is a classic example of, again, not someone picking on her or saying, hey, why are you still a virgin, in your early 20s, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with still being a virgin in your early 20s or in your 30s or whatever age you happen to be, if you happen to be still a virgin. And so my thing for her, and what I'm saying to any and every young person that's listening, and I actually have like a little bit of feedback on my end. Give me a second here. Just give me a second. I feel like there's something going on. Just bear with me for a second. Oh boy, that must mean I have something good to say, because it's, oh boy, oh boy, we have a little distraction here, but that's okay. We're gonna make this right. Give me a second. I'm gonna do something real quick. All right, here we go. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. My guests, can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay. I feel like I have, okay. Give me a second here. All right, so here we go. We're going to keep going because, again, that's just distractions that get me off, but I'm good. I'm going to keep going. So, as I was saying to her, there's so many temptations out there. Temptation to pressure to look a certain kind of way, be a certain size. If you're, if you're a size, 5, that's not big enough. You need to be a size 10. If you're a size 10, that's too big. You need to be a size 3. So there are all these different, pressures to be a certain size, a certain weight. Hair. It's a certain pressure to have, a certain kind of hair, certain kind of look, certain kind of texture. If it doesn't have this texture, it doesn't feel, then it's not good hair. Or if it's not this color, or if your eye colors are not what everybody, or what society says are beautiful eyes, then it's not acceptable. Then it all goes down to, what kind of car do you drive? If you're not driving them, I'm not going to start calling out names because, again, it's not about, material things. But if you're not driving a certain kind of car, then you're not popular. Or for some of these young people, if you don't even have a car in school, sometimes you're looked down upon for those reasons as well, because society says this is what you should have, and in order to be popular or to be cool. Do you live in a certain kind of house? Do you work at a certain kind of job? Are you married? What kind of figures do you make? What's your salary like? Who are your friends? Who's your in circle? Do you travel? If you don't travel, oh, something must be wrong with you. There are so many pressures to be a certain kind of way, look a certain kind of way in today's society. And for this young lady that says, hey, I'm just tired of feeling left out. I feel like I'm missing out on something. And that was what I asked her. I said, why do you feel like you want to do this? And she says, I feel like I'm missing out on something. Let me just tell you, there's a scripture that's Proverbs 31:10 that says, who can find a virtuous woman? A virtuous woman is far more valuable than rubies, if you would. This is not about perfection. This is not about, trying to think you're better than or superior than. This is really about, being content with who you are and how God has created you. Virtuous is a word that we see in the Bible on numerous occasions. There's actually 7 characteristics of virtue. But being virtuous basically means that you know the difference between, you try to live your life by a moral compass that distinguishes right from wrong. So, someone that's virtuous, you practice, you allow your decisions to be based off of the moral compass that you know better. A lot of our young people, when you find them going out and you're doing things that are so out of character, a lot of it does have to do with the pressures that they feel, because they feel like if they didn't do these certain things, they wouldn't be accepted, or they could be more popular if they were to do these certain things. They will be more accepted into what seemed to be the popular crowd or the popular group if they were to do these things. God makes no mistake, and the Bible does tell us that we are made after his image. As a matter of fact, in the book of Genesis, he says what he made, what God had made and created, it was good. And then he put a period at the end of it. So what he's saying is that everything that he made, he created, he designed, it is good. You, me, none of us, no woman, no man, but speaking for the women today, we don't have to change aesthetically who we are to be accepted. A person is going to accept you for who you are and the features and the characteristics that you possess without you having to do anything else to enhance it. I look at a lot of our young people and I say, wow, you look at like the industry in itself, the cosmetic industry. I have to look at this thing a little bit more deeper, y'all. So I'm going to actually like read a little bit of what I've written down note wise, because there's a report that talks. It's the American Society of Plastic Surgery report for 2020. Okay. And these numbers were actually decreased from 2020, of course, because we're dealing with COVID. But it talked about between the ages of 13 and 9, the majority cosmetic surgeries, again, 13 to 9. Did I say that? ages 13 to 19. I'm sorry, 13 to 19. Okay, ages 13 to 19. The majority cosmetic surgeries that have taken place, it totaled 87,966 13 to 19-year-olds had cosmetic surgery. The top surgeries that they had that were something that they found this age group having was either a nose reshaping, ear surgery, y'all. They had ear surgery, okay? Eyelid surgery. That's pretty deep. I wear my glasses, because I said I had to read and see some things. But can you imagine being a 13-year-old and having somebody cut over your eyelid, or for somebody to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do in order to be more beautiful or to enhance. Now, we're not talking about you just God forbid, getting into a car accident and you have to have this type of cosmetic surgery. This is just someone that actually says, hey, I find these characteristics or features about myself to be off, and I want to enhance them. I want to make them more beautiful, if you would. Okay. Breast reduction, okay. Breast lift, buttock lifts, and tummy tucks were the top surgeries being performed for that age group, 13 to 19. Okay. And then the top cosmetic surgeries for ages 20 to 29 was a nose reshaping, breast augmentation, um, breast implants, cheek implants, y'all, cheek, like in your cheeks, eyelid surgery once again, and then liposuction. And then they said that majority of what you see now taking place now are fillers. You get a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are having Botox, cellulite treatment, soft tissue fillers, if you would. The top 5 cosmetic surgery procedures in the world, just nationwide, happens to be nose reshaping, which is interesting. Nose reshaping, eyelid surgery, facelift, liposuction, breast augmentation, and breast implants. Okay. They said that the cosmetic surgery industry has a valued worth of $43.9. Actually, that's what they're projecting by 2025. So you have somebody that has sat down in a room and determined that, okay, right now, up to this date, they said it's 16.5. Americans have spent $16.5 billion a year on cosmetic surgery, but they have said that they projected by 2025 the worth of the cosmetic surgery industry in itself will be valued at 43.9 billion. So, what does that say? All this money that's going into something that will build up a person's aesthetic, somebody's outward appearance. Do you not know that there's so many young people, and I'm harping on this because even though we're talking about something to do with her losing her virginity and having sex, a lot of what is happening is that their behaviors are now coming back to self, because now they're looking at themselves and saying, hey, well, what's wrong with me? Why maybe I need to do certain things to make myself more attractive or make myself more enticing to the eye, and therefore I would be able to have sex. So let me have sex. Let me just pour that into it. She struggled with her self-esteem before we even got to this conversation about sex. So how do you even equate the two? If a person is having self-esteem issues and self-esteem challenges, there's no way that you should be sexually intimate. You should not be engaging in sexual activities. That's a setup. You're putting yourself in a position to have your self-esteem therefore be more impacted in a negative way than it would definitely be in a positive way. you know? And so in my dealings and working with different girls, like I said, I've been doing this since 2002. I had written down a list of the type of women that we're seeing today in this world. Okay. And I'm going to bring it all back around full circle. And I promise you it's all going to make sense. You have to stay with me, y'all. I'm going to actually take a quick break so I can get my thoughts together on this one. Cause I'm really excited about having this discussion, because I think it's a discussion that needs to be had, because not just this young or early 20-year-old are doing things that they know to be morally wrong, right? to be morally wrong, not just that age group. It's happening in the 30 age group. It's happening even younger than 20 something. It's happening in this teenage group, the 20 something, 30 something, 40 something. And a lot of our women are being, their bodies are being destroyed, their spirits are being destroyed, and it's showing in their behaviors, it's showing in their outward appearance, it's showing in their mindset, their conversation. So it's a conversation that needs to be had, and it's going to continue on. This is just, like I said, the tip, the beginning of it. So you have to stick with me, y'all, because I'm going to go and come right back. And when I come back in, I'm going to share with you the 7 types of women that I have classified based off of my experience, and now working with, again, that population, working with that young one, that young group, but then watching again, becoming women. And then of course they have friends, they have peers, they have family members. So I'm hearing a lot in my ear. And I said, hey, let's have this discussion and see where, we all fit as women. Do we fall into any of these categories that I'm going to share with you in just a moment? So you have to stick and stay. Sharon DeCosta's in the yard, y'all. I told you it was going to be a good show. I told you. Trust me, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You're in for a treat. Stay tuned, please. Hey, y'all, I am back. Sharon DeCosta, she's in the yard, y'all. Indeed. Hopefully, you heard the first part of that conversation. Hey, if you're joining me, I'm certain that you have. So, as I mentioned to you before I was going to take this quick break, there are 7 types of women that I have identified over the years. And I'm going to just share the 7 based off of the different behaviors, based off of the things that you hear, based off of sessions, based off of conversations. And tell me if any of these women you can actually relate to, you can actually identify with. The first type of woman is that broken woman. All right. This is a woman that has been hurt in previous relationships. This is the woman that has insecurities. This is the woman that hasn't taken the time to heal from the previous relationship. Young one, I say woman, but it could be young adult woman, female, if you would. This is the woman that has all this baggage, and so instead of her taking the time to heal from the previous breakup or the previous letdown, they continue to just go from one relationship to the next relationship to the next relationship. No time to heal, no time to cleanse, no time to purify. They just continue to add additional baggage on top of one another. And in the process, instead of taking the time to heal, what they're doing is taking the time to continue to build their insecurities. Because a lot of times as women, we'll be quick to point the finger and say, hey, this is what this person has did to me to make me feel this kind of way. I'm a strong believer and advocate of saying no one can make you do anything. No one can make you feel any kind of way. You can be offended by someone's behavior, but you have the control and the power to dictate your own feelings, your own actions, if you would. When you say a person made me do X, Y, and Z, that means you've given that person so much power, more power than they deserve. Okay. So that's the broken woman. This is the woman that hasn't taken the time to heal from the previous hurt, the previous relationship. She's very insecure. The next type of woman that I have identified with over the years, and just again calling out a few today, would be the confused woman. This is the woman that's confused about her sexuality. This is the woman that's confused about her religious belief. This is the woman that's confused about life in general. And you might say, well, we all have a little bit of confusion. Yeah, we do. But when a person makes a lifestyle out of confusion, then there's a problem. You know what I mean? So this is the woman that's just confused, not clear, going with the wind, nothing solid, no roots, nothing solid to go off of. If a person says, oh, you should do X, Y, and Z, that person goes and they do X, Y, and Z. Oh, and the next day they might say, well, you should do it this way. Oh, okay, well, I think I'll do it this way. Or if somebody happens to show you attention, women, that happens to be maybe not of the same or out of the same gender, well, because maybe the person that was of the opposite gender rejected you, you will be more prone or apt to go with that particular person because they're the ones showing you the attention that you so seek and you so desire. Okay, so that's the second type of women. The third one is the angry woman. Oh my goodness, I can go on with this one, right? But the angry woman is the woman that basically is unforgiving. She's taken all of her hurts, she's taken all of her brokenness, she's taken the things that people have done to her, right? And she, instead of letting it go, instead of taking the time to release it, instead of taking the time to filter through them, those emotions rather, excuse me, she's angry, she's mad, she becomes like a bully to a certain degree. She's channeling a lot of her energy out on males. There are women that bully men, y'all. I've seen women strong arm some men strong arm some men in a minute. She's become bullyish towards maybe her peers, even like some teenagers. I've seen girls in school that are very mannish acting, you know what I mean? Like punching and smacking boys and punching them in the back and saying, talking really aggressive. And it's like, wow, what is going on? So this is necessarily, the angry woman. And I dare not, and please don't take me as saying that what someone maybe has done to you that offended you, that you don't have the right to feel a certain way behind that. But where the problem lies is when you take what someone has done to you, something that they meant for evil, and you've allowed it to now infiltrate your spirit and dictate how you move, dictate how you see life, dictate how you see relationships, dictate how you see, the male and female relationship, dictate how you see, mother father, husband wife relationship. It's left you angry. What someone has done, a behavior or action of someone else, has left you in a space of anger. So again, unresentfulness, unforgiveness. We all know, we talked about, one of the sessions I had with one of my girls, Alexis, that joined me. We talked about, learning how to forgive. Forgiveness is not for that person. Forgiveness is for you. It's not about, forgiving a person, like getting them off the hook. It's about forgiving that person so that you can be free. You can release that what was weighing down on you, because you continue to remind yourself of the things that that person may have done that led to the unforgiveness. But when you forgive that person, you release yourself. You now take those chains, that yoke from around your neck, and you release it so that you can be free to enjoy life and then enjoy maybe the next relationship that God has designed for you. Okay, so we have the confused, we have the broken, we have the angry, then we have the docile. The docile woman. This is the timid woman. This is the woman that hasn't tapped into her voice yet. This is the woman that allows people to walk over her. This is the woman that allows people to take her for granted or to take advantage of her kindness. A lot of times people will take advantage of your kindness when you're a kind natured person, when you're always like that yes person that always want to see people happy. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to offend, so then your voice, and it may have something to do with maybe your upbringing. I met a parent. I met a parent some years ago, years ago, and she had a son, and we were talking one day, and she said, her words, she said to me, I think. I said to her, your son is quiet, like he's quiet sometimes. And so she says, I think I may have damaged him some from when he was a little boy. And I said, why do you say that? And she said, because I used to always tell him to shut up when he would talk. She said, because he would always just talk, like run off at the mouth. And so she said, I would tell him, um, shut up, like be quiet, shut up, be quiet. And it caused him to have a complex. So when he would now he's an adult and he would get in these social settings, he would now have a complex about his words or what he would speak. And it prevented him from talking or speaking up when he needed to speak up, because he felt like if he spoke or said something, someone would think that he was talking crazy or he sounded stupid. So therefore he chose not to talk. Okay, or talk but not speak up when he needed to speak up. So speaking for a woman, there's a lot of women out there like that. There's a lot of women that have been in abusive relationships that have now allowed that person, the fear that they've invoked in them. A lot of times people think abuse is just the physical. Abuse can be mental, abuse can be emotional, abuse can be psychological. Abuse doesn't just have to be the physical part of it, but because she was in a relationship that maybe he was abusive to her, she now has her voice has been stifled. Now she's really timid. She doesn't know how to speak up for herself. And speaking up, what does that mean? Speaking up means that you can lose someone that you love, quote unquote. But is that really love if you cannot express your feelings without feeling like this person's going to leave you or this person's going to judge your words? So that's the third or the fourth type of woman. The fifth, the material woman. This is the woman that has to be labeled down, Gucci down, Louis Vuitton down, whatever down. Designer brand labels, got to have the best of this, the fancy of this. And there's nothing wrong with having nice things, because Miss Sharon is all for having nice things every day, all day. Okay. But I don't live. Matter of fact, when I was a young girl, teenage girl, I was materialistic. Yes, I was into the material things, okay? But as I became a woman, when I started to see life for really what it is and the things that really mattered, I put aside those material things and the things that did not matter. I never really been that person that said, well, hey, in order for me to wear such and such, it had to have a label on it. That I never was. But I do believe that there's that woman that's looking for that person and what they can do for me. And it's nothing wrong with seeking a mate that, is secure, that has their own finances, because, there's nothing more unattractive than a woman taking care of a grown man. I'll say that again, all day, every day. Okay. But, when you seek, the bank account, when you seek, hey, what can he do for me, and not tapping into the things that really matter, the things that is of value. Actually, there's a scripture. I got to bring my scripture in here now. Or actually, I don't know if I have that one, but there is one that says, well, man looks on the outward appearance. It's man that looks on the outward appearance, but it's God that looks at the heart. So man looks at the aesthetics. Man looks at the things that look good, the shiny and the bright and the bling bling. But a lot of times we forget the heart. A lot of times we don't sit down and we don't take the chance to sit down and see what the person's character is really about. It's all about, again, going back to that world where everything feels good, everything looks good, to the natural eye. Tell me what I want to hear, instead of actually taking the time to see what really matters. Okay. So that's the materialistic woman, if you would. Then we have the Sixth type of woman, the imbalanced woman. This is the woman that basically works all the time. She doesn't have time for family life. She doesn't have time for school life. You give it just a little bit, or matter of fact, she might have more time for work life and not enough time for the things that matter, such as family, or maybe school, or maybe some other things that actually really matter. There was a woman that I know, and I'll just give it a general descriptive, if you would. There was a woman that I know that worked all the time, just work all the time. She had no time for family. Her goal was to continue to build wealth. There are men like that just continue to build wealth. There's nothing wrong with building or acquiring wealth, but when you have an imbalance where you're negating, or you're not taking time out for the things that really matter, then that's when the imbalance comes. But she continued to work. Going back to this lady, she continued to work, gain more weight, gain more wealth, more wealth. And then one day, y'all, she just passed away. She just passed away. And so what happens to all of this money that she had, all this wealth that she had? Well, what I didn't tell you is that she had a child, okay? And she didn't teach the child the true value of, first, money, the dollar, because God blesses us with wealth so that we can be a blessing to other people. It's not about, he's not saying, don't take care of your necessities, the things that you need, because we know that we need, shelter, food, water, just the basics, and be able to enjoy life, especially when you work hard, you went to school, you got your education, you're now working in the field. That's a beautiful thing, but it can't be work all the time, and then you negate, the children, or you negate teaching them the things that they need to be taught. And so, as a result of her not teaching her child the value, the child just blew that money, y'all. The child ran through that money like it was a marathon, a short one. Okay. So she was steady storing up for something that never happened. And you think about it, when we leave this earth, we can't take any of that stuff with us, right? So you got to be able to be wise in your dealings and know that when God blesses you, yeah, enjoy life, get the better things in life if that's your desire, but don't get to where you're holding on to things. Somebody comes into your life and they say, hey, there's a family member, and they say, hey, I need help with such and such, and you have it, but you choose not to, just because you're like, oh, let them work for their, da, da, da. Well, that may be the case, especially for someone that's, a little, lazy in that sense. But don't get so judgmental or get in that space to where you feel like you can then judge that person's, walk, if you would, because we all have a walk and a journey to take. My role Sharon DeCosta's role, and even when I do my sessions with my girls, is just to give a different perspective, give you a different way to think about a scenario, so that you can say, hey, you know what, that makes sense, it doesn't make sense. It's not for me to sit here and say, hey, this is what you need to do, you ought to do. Well, just suggestions, just all food for thought, something to think about. Okay. So those were the six. And then that seventh woman, of course, is that virtuous woman. That's that woman that has made it up in her mind that she was going to live her life with the moral compass that will enable that which she's been taught. Okay. And even if she hasn't been taught, she knows better than, you don't base your worth, okay, or your value on your body. Don't say, hey, the way I look, or if I have, sex, or, intercourse, or I do these things to this person, that's going to bring value to me, because that's a depleted definition of worth and value. Okay. Of the virtuous woman, takes time to build herself up. The virtuous woman takes time to, build others up. The virtuous woman, if she's married, she cares for her household, her husband. If she has children, she cares for her children. She helps in the community. She serves. She doesn't get caught up in the things of this world, because the world is fickle. For the young lady that says, hey, I want to have sex. Why? You that's a temporary satisfaction. You're making trying to make a permanent decision, and the permanent decision is to give away something that is valuable, something that is of value. That's your body. Your body is a temple. To give it away for a temporary satisfaction. We all have made mistakes. We all have been there. I'm a very grown woman. I told you my age some years, not some years ago, a couple of months ago, back in May, the month of May, I came on and I shared with you about my birthday, my celebration. I've gone through life. I live life. I've respected myself. I tried my best to carry myself like a young lady, like a young woman, but I made mistakes along the way as well. And that's why I can sit here and speak with so much authority, because I know that the things of this world will lead you somewhere, have you somewhere you don't want to be. And this day and time, young lady, and for all young women out there listening, you cannot put yourself in a position where you're out there having casual sex. Okay, let's just put it out there. There are diseases out there that you cannot get rid of. Okay, there's a shame that comes with having just casual sex, just sleeping with, Ronnie, Ricky, and Mike, and thinking that it's okay, and it's not okay. It's not okay to compromise your values and your morals for the sake of trying to fit in, because that's what I'm hearing. That's what I heard. She wants to fit in. She wants to be a part of this conversation. And in order for her to do so, she has to now, so she feels, have sex in order for her to be a part of the conversation. No, you can have a different narrative. You can have a different dialogue. You can be the person that will make a young person say, hey, you know what? If so and so cannot do it and feel good about herself, then maybe I need to practice. Maybe I need to try that. It's not about, going out there and sleeping with some random guy just so that you can, give him pleasure, give yourself temporary pleasure and walk away. And then he either talk about either, hey, that was easy, or maybe it wasn't easy. Or, you can't say, oh, I love her. Well, no, because there's a lot of lust relationships going on in this world today. There's a lot of lust babies that have come into this world today. People are moving off of their feelings. People are moving off of their emotions. People are not taking the time to know each other. They're just basing it off of this society's definition of beauty. Okay. And society's definition of beauty changes just like the wind is blowing out there. That's what was going on with it's lightning and so forth outside. And so I was hearing something back in the back. So I was thinking that's what was messing up my sound. But, don't get caught up in the world. 1 Peter 3:3-4. Do not let your adorning be external, in the braiding of your hair, putting on gold jewelry or clothing, but let your adorning be the hidden person of the heart, which is imperishable beauty. I like that, y'all. It says, do not let your adorning be external. Let your adorning be what's hidden in your heart. What's hidden in your heart, that's why I mentioned last week, the matters of the heart. You have to protect your heart. You know what I mean? That's the imperishable beauty. That's the thing that nobody can mess with. That's the thing that's gentle. That's the thing that's quiet. That's the thing that is delightful in God's eyesight, is, your heart, because that's what he looks after. How you hear people saying, oh, God knows my heart. God knows my heart. Yes, he knows our heart, is absolutely right. People know that God looks at your heart. What was your motive behind what you did? What was the motive behind what you said? Take the time to look at those things. Yeah, the young lady that said, hey, this is what I want to do. Okay, why? You have to really ask yourself why. And if the reasons that you're saying why you feel like you want to just have sex when you go back to school is because you want to be a part of a conversation, that's not a valid enough reason for yourself. You should just want, for your own self-respect, to go out there and be intimate with someone because you want to be a part of a conversation. Conversations change every day, you know? Yeah, y'all. I got that to say. I got that to say. So I've given you the 7 type of women. Where do you fall? Which woman are you? You know, are you the confused woman? Are you the angry woman? Are you the docile woman? You know, are you the material woman? Are you the broken woman? Have you taken the time to know who you are, independent of people? You know, I shared with you that I've been single and celibate for some years. I shared that already, not because I can't. And it's funny because, when you get a certain age, people look and they question and they say, hey, well, why is she must be. No, This is a choice. This is the decision. I don't have to be single, but I've made a choice to be single, to take time out for Sharon and to build Sharon up, to build my business up, to be a blessing to other people, to tap into my purpose in life. You know what I mean? Independent of the definition of what people say you have to have. I know women that have gotten into relationships and walked away from their faith, their belief system for a man. They've denounced a God that has looked high, looked and sat high rather, and looked low and brought them out of situations that they did nothing but pray to him when they were in that situation, and they walked away from the faith to follow a man and denounce and followed a different religion. What? The broken woman taking the time, the confused woman taking the time. See, I can go on and on about stuff like this. I get passionate about this because there's a lot of women out there that are doing things that they should not do because they don't want to be patient. They don't want to have the fortitude. You know what I mean? They don't want to have the patience to wait for what God has for them. We're living in a world where everything is quick. Popcorn society, microwave society. What looks good? What feels good? Hey, I want it now. I don't want to wait. No, I'm going to do this because I don't want to wait. You know, I try to get ahead of myself on an occasion or two, and God says, "Sit yourself all the way down." And I had no choice, because when it comes to trying to debate with God, well, let's see who's gonna win that one. Especially when He has something for you to do, right? So, don't get caught up in the hype, because it's the hype. It's the hype of it all. Take the time to have faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Defined as, if you pull up the definition, faith, complete trust or confidence in something or someone. Have faith in God. Have faith that He did not bring you thus far to leave you. You're in law school. You're getting ready to get your law degree when you finish in a couple of years. You have wonderful things to accomplish. Don't spoil that what is precious, because you can't get it back. You can't get it back. You can't go back and say, "Oh, I'll just take my virginity back now. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be." No, you can't get that back. And a lot of times, if you do it one time, you're going to do it again. You're going to keep doing it. And you're going to keep doing it with somebody different, especially if you did it with the first person, because, for him, it was just something to do. For you, you thought maybe it was special, you know? All right, y'all. That was my thought. That was my thought. I said what I needed to say. I came in and said it. We're going to continue this conversation on a very serious note. And I was serious this whole time, but very seriously, we are going to continue this conversation. I shared with you the 7 types of women. I shared with you the Ask Sharon, but I got to follow it up with, what's one of the things that you should do, or a few things that you should do. So I'm not going to, you know what? I'm not even going to get into it like that today, y'all. We're going to make this a solid show, because I have a guest and she is waiting to come into the yard. And I'm really excited to hear what product and what her business is. And I'm sure you're going to be blessed with it as well. So, hey, I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to come on back. And I'll wrap up my thought though with this question. And then the next person that will be joining me in the yard is our next guest for the Follow Your Dreams segment. So you have to stick and stay. Yes, y'all. Sharon DeCosta, she was in the yard, or she's in the yard. Not for long. I'll be right back with you. Thank you once again for joining me. Hey, y'all, I am back. I am back. Sharon DeCosta, she's in the yard, y'all. All right, so I'm going to wrap on the Ask Sharon question for today, but I promise you I will be picking this back up. I went over the 7 types of women identified that I have identified over my years of working with young ladies and, of course, young women as well. You know, I have to just give this young lady just 1 or 2 little pointers that you can just walk away with this week, and then we'll pick it back up the next time that I join the yard. Okay. So, there are 7 heavenly virtues that are mentioned in the Bible. Faith, hope, charity, fortitude, justice, temperance, and prudence. Okay, let me say them again. I went through kind of quickly. Faith, hope, charity, uh, fortitude, justice, temperance, and prudent. So we'll go over each one over the next couple of weeks. But for today, I want to just leave you with um, 3. Okay, just 3. The first one being faith. As I mentioned to you, faith is defined as complete trust and confidence. Have confidence, young lady, in yourself. Have confidence in God and knowing that He did not bring you this far to squander or to just give away something so freely for the sake of a feeling. Feelings are temporary. Feelings are temporal. They don't last for long. Sometimes we can wake up in a good mood, happy, smiling, hello. And then sometimes we may wake up in a mood that may not be as happy, and then sometimes we could just wake up just mad, angry, just upset, just bothered, irritated. It happens. Feelings change. People change. Have faith and trust and belief in yourself to know that what you're experiencing, what you're going through, the feelings or the emotions that you're going through are temporal. Please do not make any permanent decisions in a temporary situation. And I always say when we're in our feelings, we should never make permanent decisions anyway, because usually when you make a decision, when you're in a temporary feeling, a temporary emotion, you tend to regret it because you're like, gosh, I wish I would have not said it. I wish I would have said it, or I wish I didn't say it, or I wish I didn't do it. So have faith and complete trust and confidence in yourself, but definitely in God, to know that He did not bring you to this point in, like I said, college, pursuing law degrees, the wonderful things that you are doing right now. You have so much to offer. You are so much more than your body. You are so much more than the aesthetics and what we see on the outside. And then if that's all the conversation that your friends are having or talking about, then maybe expand your friendship circle and talk about or meet some different people, personalities that have more engaging conversations that line up with your values, your morals, your moral compass. It's okay. It's nothing against those friends. It's not to say you can't hang out with them, but you already said, hey, this is what they talk about. They talk about it often. I feel left out. Well, there's someone else out there. There's a group of friends out there. That's the beauty of this life, that there's people out there that have similar interests that line more or are more in line with your moral compass, if you would. Okay. So have faith and trust. Okay. Hope. Keep hope alive. That's an old cliche, if you would. Keep hope alive. I think with Jesse Jackson, keep hope alive. All right. Keep hope. A feeling of expectation. Expect something good to happen. Expect that, God will send you the right person, the right man. Expect to not have to compromise that which you know to be right, because like talking to her older sister, she knows better, right? She's just, again, going on those feelings, and again, feelings are temporal. Feelings change. Have hope and expect that something better will come along, that will either distract you or change your mind about what you're thinking about doing. And it's not even about distraction, just change your mind. That's why I say, each day we're to renew our mind. You can't, think that your mindset can stay the same and that you can continue to excel in life, because at some point you're going to get stuck if you don't change your mindset, your mind, the way you see or view things. Life is not bad. What you're going through is not uncommon. You're not the only young adult that wanted to do something in a temporal situation, but have enough fortitude. Now, the definition of fortitude is patience through the obstacle. Strengthen your mind, courage in adversity, fortitude, being able to stand, palm trees. If you notice, like in palm trees are like in California, you see a lot of palm trees. There's a few neighbors down that have palm trees in their yard. And one of the characteristics of a palm tree is that they're able to be flexible. So they can actually bend all the way back, like all the way back 180 degree, I believe they say, backward from their actual stand straight up posture, and come back and be more sturdier and more rooted. It's something to do with their roots, like the root of palm trees, it makes them have more fortitude. It makes them be able to withstand adversity. Stand and have fortitude in whatever it is you're going through. Do not compromise, because there's a reward, there's a gift, there's a blessing on the other side of that what is uncomfortable for you right now. Don't make decisions, a permanent decision, in a very temporal situation. Like I mentioned to you, there's a lot of girls. I know I've worked with quite a few, y'all, quite a few that have, you know, experimented with different types of relationships because they did not want to be patient and wait for the person that God had truly designed for them, rather. They decided to not wait. They decided not to wait on what was better on the other side. So instead, they compromised, they settled, and they did things that went against their moral compass, their value system. So, have confidence, have faith, have hope, and have fortitude to stand, and to stand confidently. Don't make decisions, that you're going to regret, because for every decision that we make, y'all, be it good or bad, there's a consequence, there's an outcome for it. You understand? There's a consequence for the decisions that you make. You might be walking in glory right now behind a decision that you had no business making, but long-term effect, how is that going to affect you? It's going to catch up to you. That's just the law of nature. It's just like, if whatever you throw up, it comes down. Gravity. I mean, that's the law of nature. Hey, not my rule, not my law. So yeah, that's it. That's what I had to say. Sharon DeCosta was in the yard. She came in and she said it. I answered the question, the email, and I believe again, we'll continue this conversation, because I only had given you 3 of the 7 heavenly virtues, okay? Virtues, if you would, all right? So, y'all, you know what? It's time. It is time. It is time. It is time. I have a guest that's going to join me when I come back in the yard. Going to come out for 30 seconds. And when I come back in, I will be joined by our entrepreneur for the Follow Your Dream segment. So stick and stay. I'll be right back with you. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited. And hopefully you were blessed with that first segment for Ask Sharon. Thank you so much. I'll be right back with you. Hey, I am back. I am back. All right, y'all. We are ready for it. Follow your dreams. Again, this is a segment where I will bring an entrepreneur into the yard and they will have the opportunity to tell us about their product. So please help me welcome this young lady. I've had the pleasure of meeting her probably what almost 2 years ago now, right? And I met her over at an office that we I guess co-shared for a period of time, for myself a very short period of time. She had an office there and she was of course working her business, and I had the opportunity of meeting her. She had a beautiful spirit, beautiful smile, and I loved her product. And then she actually was one of the vendors for an event I had for my nonprofit. It was a paint party, if you would. And so she came in and set up, and she was a part of that wonderful event as well. So please help me welcome, as I join to the yard, Miss Jessica Lassane. Hey, Jessica.
Hi,
How are you doing, honey?
I'm great. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Jessica, did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes, you got it
Good.
correct.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I said, Lord, please let me say it right. So thank you for joining me. You look beautiful. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure. It's been a while since we've seen each other, right?
It has COVID does not lend itself to meeting people in person
Oh
anymore.
my goodness. It's been a beast, right? But hopefully this will be our last year of having to be in the house as much, right? And we can start getting out and doing these events, right?
Fingers crossed.
Yes, definitely. So, Jessica, tell us about your brand, your product, Logan's Love, right?
Yes,
And the floor is all yours. And thank you once again for joining me.
thank you for having me. So Logan's Love is a natural body care product business that I started after I had a personal health scare. And then my mom and sister have always struggled with sensitive skin. So you can kind of breathe on them a little hard and they might break out in hives. And so after my personal health scare, I was like, well, I'm an engineer. I can make anything. And that's what I always tell my nieces and nephews. I can make anything. Anything you have, I can figure it out. I'm an engineer. And so I took a couple of classes on soap making, making lotion, and other body care products. And so from that, I was like, well, I can do this. Like, it's fun. It was exciting. It was not nice to use the other side of my brain, so it wasn't as technical as like my day job. And so it was like a lot of fun, and there was no calories involved. So it was almost like baking, but I didn't get to eat anything. And so I started making natural body care products, which included scrubs, lotions, soaps, and I'm still working on other products. So as I learn more, I always am looking for ways to incorporate that into the products as well. And that is how Logan's Love got started.
Wow, that's nice. Very impressive. Thank you so much. So now, Jessica, you mentioned that your mom and sister that had sensitive skin,
Mm-hmm.
right? So can
Mm-hmm.
you speak to that a little bit more as far as your product line? What were you noticing as it relates to them having sensitive skin?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that are in natural body or in body care products. I won't even say natural, just in body care products in general that could be can cause allergens or people can be really sensitive to, especially a lot of the fragrances. A lot of companies will hide fragrance, a lot of things in their fragrances on their labeling. And so it's one of those things where I always try to incorporate a non-scented line. So with the products, like I have soaps that are pure. So I have our pure here. So I have this soap, and my friend loves to use this on her baby. And so to think about using this on your 3-month old over like a Johnson and Johnson or another kind of product, and this worked better for her daughter than any of the other products because her daughter had super sensitive skin and she was seeing dry patches, and she was breaking out and she was turning red after the bath. And so she was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, I made this soap, like try it out for her. I was like, it's really gentle. I've tried it myself, but try for her. And so for me, it was really important to make things that were not only fun and
Right.
but also safe and could be used on even my mom, my sister, or even my friend's baby.
Very nice, very nice. So now I thought about something that you mentioned. You said fragrance free, because to your point, like a lot of these labels, if you were to look at the labels, it would either say unscented, right? Or like the
Mhm.
verbiage, they're very, very careful, like unscented or fragrance free, or how does that go? Because it will either read like unscented, But then if you read down a little further on in the ingredients, it may have something that will suggest that there is some sort of fragrance. Am I right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really important to read labels, just like you with your food and things that you're putting into your body. The same thing is things you're putting onto your body. It's really important to read labels and understand what the ingredients mean, what they do, and then how you or may not react to them. So, like I said, fragrances is one way that companies sometimes hide things and
Mhm.
don't have to disclose necessarily from a labeling perspective. Is completely legal, but they don't have to necessarily disclose everything, and they can put it under the fragrance category.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you for sharing that. So
Mhm.
now, your background is as an engineer. So
Mhm.
that's completely, I wouldn't say different in itself, but can you give us a little bit more on that? When you say you were an engineer, what's like what all do you do as an engineer? And then how
Yeah,
does
so
that tie into you mixing up some products?
yeah, I'm a chemical engineer. I graduated from NC State. Go Pack.
All
Uh,
right.
And I actually work in the pharmaceutical industry. So manufacturing body care products is good manufacturing products. So practices, sorry. So it aligns very closely with my day job. So I have to make sure I document everything properly. I want to make sure that you get the same product every time. So if you order it from me today and then you order it from me again in 6 months, unless I've done some type of change where I've revamped the recipe and I'm doing something different, you should get the same exact product. You should have the same exact experience. And so from that perspective, they tie in really closely together. It's just on this side, I get to be more creative. And my day job is very stringent, very strict, because I'm making vaccines, and I
Oh
definitely want to
wow.
make sure those are safe for anyone that's being injected with those.
Wow. And Jessica, did you say you're making vaccines?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow, how exciting. How exciting, Jessica. We have to bring you back on and have a discussion about that because there's so much discussion about vaccinations and people not wanting to get it, especially people
Mhm.
that are believe in holistic health and healing and so that's I just had a really good conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, literally about vaccination. So yeah, I have to bring you back on a different set for that. Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. So now Jessica makes her own label. That was one of the things that was very impressive to me when I bring. Yep, we're gonna say bring it over a little bit. Yep, she makes her own label. That was one of the things, Jessica, that was very impressive. One of the many things, because there was, quite a few things when I went back in the your office, because you had like a lab back there. She had a lab back there, y'all.
Yeah, here I am in the lab again.
Yeah, she had the lab going on, and I was impressed with that. And of course, as a young woman, a woman of color, and then of course, you made your own label. So she took control over the whole process. So it wasn't just like creating a product and then just getting some generic label. She took the time to pour into the labeling in itself, the color, the
Mhm.
brand itself. Now, Logan's Love. You may have said it, but please repeat. How did you come up with Logan's Love?
So Logan is my middle name. And
Okay.
I have to thank my mom for the spelling because that's how she spelled my middle name.
Okay.
And then the L is my mom's first initial. I've
Okay.
always used the O as a heart. The V is my sister's first initial, and the E is my grandmother's first initial. And so
Very
when I think
nice.
about making products, you get a bit of a piece of me, Logan, and then I also make sure that it's safe enough for my mom, my sister, and my grandmother.
Very nice. I like that. I even like you just broke that thing down. That's very nice. And your parents, I'm sure your family are very proud of you, right?
They
Very
are.
proud. Yeah, definitely. So now, Jessica, um, there are a lot of natural products on the shelf, right? There's no
Mhm.
secret to that in itself. But why should people today, this day and time, why do you think, what would you suggest, or what's your words as it relates to why do you think people should look into more natural or organic or natural ingredients products, if you would, to put on their body, in their body?
Yeah, so there's a lot of more research about the impact of a lot of these chemically made products or
Hmm.
ingredients
Hmm.
that go into things. It definitely gives a more stable shelf life that lasts longer. So from a consumer standpoint, you can buy a lotion today and you can use it still again in like 2 years. But then from a health conscious standpoint, what is it doing to your body? What allows it to last for that amount of time? And so all of my products are inspired by food. So I'm a foodie. I heard you say you were a foodie earlier.
Yes.
And so when I think about food, I think about stuff that my grandmother had a garden. My mom always loved to cook. We go to the farmers market on a regular basis. So this is something like eating, a salad is not abnormal in my house, or like, breakfast for dinner is not abnormal. But that also includes like measuring out the flour for the pancakes and like, all the other ingredients and things. And so when I think about making body care products, I equate it to making food. So I want it to be fresh. I want it to be as natural as possible. I make cupcake soaps. Like, you're not supposed to eat them, but they look good enough to eat. So,
Yes, I
I
like
think
that.
so I think about that whenever I'm making products, and whenever I'm purchasing and choosing something for myself, I'm looking at what is that made fresh, because I don't make all the products I use at home. And so if I am purchasing something from someone else, I'm looking at what is their process like, what ingredients are they using,
Nice,
what is their community involvement. So like there's a lot of
nice.
things that go into picking, not just body care products, but it could be other products that you use in your household as well.
Right. Very nice. I like that. So now, do you have any what because I've purchased from you as well. I purchased her soaps. Like, well, that was the first thing that I purchased from her when she and I met, and I purchased the soap that had the oatmeal. Oh, am I saying that
Yes.
right? Yeah, the oatmeal in it. And I liked it. One of the things that I liked about your product, Jessica, was that it wasn't drying. Like, you know how sometimes when you get into like natural products and then you think about like or even just non natural, like products that have these different ingredients in it,
Mhm.
it will leave your skin dried out, or it looks like you're real ashy, like if you
Yeah.
don't put the follow up moisturizing and so forth. So I think a really good, for me, how I can tell a very good product, as it relates to natural, is that when you use it, it's not drying. Like, your skin isn't dry. You don't feel like you're ashy. You're looking ashy. Your
Mhm.
skin feels smooth. It
Yeah.
feels like it has like a level of moisture to it. I know our bodies produce naturally oils, if you would,
Mhm.
right? But I think that that was one of the draws that I liked about your soap, and I purchased from you a couple of times as well. So, but yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us what do you have going on? What's some of the things you have going on now, product wise?
So still
Hmm.
making soaps, lotions. I'm working on a rebrand actually. So
Okay.
because like I said, the products are food inspired,
Hmm.
I am looking to better incorporate that into it. So you don't have to like hear me tell you about the products. You can look at them directly and be like, oh, okay, I get it. That's inspired by a such and such, and that's inspired by this. And so it's time for, as I've taken the last year, I was not able to do events and in-person things, safety first with that. And so um I've had the time to like really think like, where do I want this to go? What do I want this to be? What do I want it to represent? And with that, I really want to embrace the food inspiration. And the food doesn't just mean like desserts. I'm talking about like drinks, other like teas and like a lot of other different like incorporations of food, muffins, like that kind of fun stuff.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I like that, Jessica. So now, how can we find you? I know her banner's coming across the screen, everyone. So that's how you can get in touch with her. And I see there's a promo code. Tell us about the promo code, Jessica.
Yes, exclusively for your listeners. I have a code for you to put in. It's Journey 20 with a capital J.
Okay.
And with that, you'll get 20% off of your entire purchase.
Nice, Shaw. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that. Yeah.
And
So
you can
Jessica,
find me.
go ahead, honey. I'm sorry. I'm
I was gonna
sorry.
say, you can find me. The website is www.loganslove.com, and also on Instagram at Logan's Love.
Very nice. Very nice. Any other thing you want to tell us about your business, your product, or anything that you would like
Um,
to?
My favorite scent, of course, is Uplift. I don't know if we talked about this one, but the lemongrass eucalyptus is definitely my favorite scent. I know
Okay.
I'm not supposed to have favorites, but if you're not sure of what to go with, Uplift is a good one to try.
Okay, okay. Now, are there any benefits of, you say, eucalyptus?
Yes, eucalyptus and the lemongrass is a very, well, it's called Uplift because it's a very uplifting scent. It's not very overpowering, but it's a nice, like, deep inhale, like it increases your senses, it's soothing for your body too. And then this time of year, it also keeps the mosquitoes away. So
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you that. That was gonna be my next question. I was gonna say, aren't they good for like mosquitoes, like to repel mosquitoes or something? The
yes,
scent,
yes,
fragrance.
yes,
Okay.
they love me. So I definitely keep this in my purse on a regular basis to keep the mosquitoes away.
Very nice. So now so you have the skincare. Tell us about the different type of products that you have. Is it the soaps? Is it the lotions? Go ahead and tell us a little bit more there.
So I have soap. I
Hmm.
have bar soaps. So that would be these would be the bar soaps. I have the cupcake soaps work just the same as a bar soap, but just in a different shape. I have
Okay.
body scrubs. These are emulsified. The body scrubs, one thing I love about them is like sometimes when you use scrubs, you get a slip and slide in the shower. So you get like the
Hmm.
oil and you're like sliding around in the shower. Well, these are
Right.
emulsified. So when you add them on your skin and like exfoliate and you add water, it turns into a lotion. So you won't get the slip and slide. So you get the exfoliation and then you get the moisture. So like this one is modeled after a lemon poppy seed
Okay.
lotion. So it's lemongrass and poppy seeds inside of it
Oh,
as the base for
that's pretty
the
nice.
scrub.
Pretty nice.
Mhm.
Now, Jessica, what is the benefit of scrubbing? Tell
So
the viewers what. Yeah, there you go.
yeah, so exfoliation is really good for your skin. So when you wash, you do get a level of exfoliation just by, using soap, your hand, a wash rag, or a loofah, or any type of thing. But the exfoliation also helps to, clear off dead skin cells that are on your skin. And then because it has the moisture being added right to it by making the lotion, then you get to moisturize that new layer of skin that's being exposed. So exfoliation is really
Nice.
good for all parts of your body. You don't want to do it too often because it can be too. Some people can be really aggressive with it, but I would
Mhm.
definitely recommend. Like I exfoliate my face, I exfoliate my body. I actually have that scrub in my shower right now, and
Okay. Okay.
so it's also it's just really good for your skin. And like if you have, I mean, we get it done when we go get pedicures. Like they take off the dead skin on your feet.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
cut cuticles on your nails. So it's just a good way to expose, fresh new skin and add that moisture to it to keep it nice and soft.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. So now
Mhm.
the baby you mentioned at the beginning that was the mom was having some challenges. So would
Mhm.
you say that some of your product would be good for women that have children or even women or people in general that have eczema?
Yeah, so I have the pure soap, and then I also have the lotion and the body cream in an unscented version. So that was really important to me, like I said earlier, to provide a safe option where it's not you don't have to worry about any scents or anything like that aggravating you. Because even essential oils, as safe as they are, and as good as they are, they can still be aggravating to people and their not only their skin but also their smell. So I wanted to be sensitive and conscious of that because there's some things that my mom cannot smell, and there's things that she cannot put on her skin, even from essential oils, like as using that as a standpoint. So there are options for the lotion. There's a body cream, which is also a thicker version of the lotion. So if you prefer a thicker moisturizer, we have a body
Nice.
cream, and then we have the soap pure in an unscented version as well.
Very nice, very nice. Because I think I'm seeing that more, and I don't know if it's in the foods. I don't know if it's in what it is that's causing where you see women that are struggling with eczema,
Mhm.
and you're seeing it more on the babies, like baby skin. And so I don't know if it's again in the food, if it's in the milk, or if it's in the product that's being used.
Yeah, it could be a lot of different things. I think for some people, it's sometimes an allergy expression. So, like, you might have some type of allergen in your body. So, like, a lot of times they recommend looking at the foods that you're eating, and that your skin may be expressing an allergy, where it's not like where you could be feeling real. So you're having like an allergic reaction where you have like hives or like
Right,
your
right,
throat is closing up or anything like that. But your skin can sometimes be an expression of something else that may be going on within your body. It could also be overexposure to products. So maybe you're
mhm,
putting on too many different things, you're trying too many different things, and your skin
mhm,
is negatively reacting to that. So even like keep it simple. So like with skincare, they're always like keep it simple because a lot of people that I follow and like try to get skincare tips from, they're like, oh, I was doing fine. I was using this one moisturizer and this one cleanser, and then I switched
mhm.
to using all these other things that you recommended, and it's like, well, you weren't supposed to use them all at once. So keep
Yeah,
it
yeah,
simple with your skincare routine. Change one thing at a time and see how your skin reacts. Just like with hair, like when you wash your hair, it doesn't feel good that day. You don't go change everything. You're like, okay, well, let me
that's
just try
right.
this one thing, and let me take out this one thing, and let me try this moisturizer.
Right.
So, same thing with your skin. So, your skin is very resilient. If you think about all that it puts up with day in and day out, you don't want to overexpose it, and you also don't want to aggravate it. And
Right.
so that could be where some of the eczema or even like breakouts and things may be happening for people.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. And isn't our skin the largest organ? Is that how you say that?
Yep.
Is that, am I right in saying that,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
I
The
learned a little
largest
something. I remembered a little something. Yeah, very nice. Thank you so much. So, Jessica, as an entrepreneur, you've been doing, how long have you been doing Logan's Love, your program,
This
your
has been
business?
4 years this October.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Was it scary for you when you first started? What was your thought process when you started?
It's
And were
scary.
there, okay. Mhm.
It's still scary. I mean, every day I'm learning something new. It's there's no like blueprint for this. So being an engineer, I'm used to like a blueprint or like a manual. It's like, okay, I pick the manual up, I do these things, it should work. Or I
Right,
pick the recipe book up and it's like, okay, I want to make this. I
right.
measure out all the things, it should work. And so like, yes, I can make a lotion based on a recipe that somebody else created, but does it do what I want it to do for your skin?
Hmm.
Maybe, maybe not. So there's a lot of experimentation, and one of the big things I've had to become comfortable with is failing. It's
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
always going to work the first time. So like my first Facebook ad, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I did it wrong. I
Right,
learned from
right.
it, but I totally did it wrong.
Get it?
Posting on Instagram. Anybody that knows me personally, I hate posting on Facebook and Instagram. Like I barely post anything. But for
I'm
the
the same
business, I
way.
have to be comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing reels and now I'm, showing my face more and I'm, getting on lives and doing different things. I'm here today.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that like are outside of my comfort zone and a lot of things that I've had to learn along the way. And I couldn't wait until I knew it to try it. I just had to try it and then learn from it.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that. And you're right. As an entrepreneur, it does push you to get out of a comfort because,
Mhm.
like, to your point, I'm guilty. Like, I hate, and I hate to say it, that's a strong word, but like social media platforms, I hate having to check Facebook, check Instagram. I do. I hate posting sometimes, but I know it's a viable platform. It's a necessary platform to stay in business today. And so you
Mhm.
have to really just kind of push yourself out of it. And you're right, it's always going to be something new and something to be kind of intimidated or scared by when you're starting your own business. So, but you're doing a fabulous job. And like I said, I was really impressed with your work when we first met, and I was like, oh wow, this is nice. It's exciting. I was excited for you, and that was my first time meeting you. And then when I asked you to come and join me for paint the paint party, that
Mhm.
was really fun, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the
Yes.
models just kind of doing their expression of the different words and so forth. But again, I was impressed with just the whole packaging, everything that you had to offer. And I believe you'll have so many even greater things up ahead for you as you continue on. So now, Jessica, what words would you say? Are there any words that you would like to impart to the viewers for someone that may be looking to start their own business, start their own skincare line in particular? What words would you say to that next aspiring entrepreneur?
You got to do it. There's people out there doing more with less knowledge, less skills than what you currently have. You can get into paralysis of like, I got to learn this and I got to figure this out. I got to do this. Just start. Start somewhere and you'll figure out all the other things as you go. If you wait until everything is perfect and the perfect timing and like this is everything is lined up, you'll be waiting for years and years to come and you may never get share your gifts with the world. So my advice would be to start. Just start where you are with what you have. Do what you can. If you listen to like stories of other entrepreneurs that are now multimillionaires, they just started. They were in their kitchen. They were getting labels from Staples. They were handwriting things, and they figured it out as they went. And as they got bigger, they increased their branding budget. They were able to get other people to do things, but you have to start somewhere. And then from that, you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your successes, and you continue to build. Also, surround yourself with people that are going to support you. As an entrepreneur, there are going to be days where you doubt yourself, you question yourself, and you're going to need a good village of people around you that support you. And then the final thing is to always invest in yourself. So People talk about all the other things that they purchase, but make sure you're not only are you investing in your business, you're investing in yourself. So that could be coaching, it could be learning how to save money, making sure that you're investing in yourself as well as your business.
Thank you for that, Jessica. That was good words, good nuggets that you imparted on our viewers. As an entrepreneur, as a young entrepreneur, we'll see more of you. I'm certain of it. I'm certain of it. I'm going to always reach out to you, especially when I do shows and events. It's like, come on over here, Jessica, and set up, or, and then definitely I'm going to have you come back on. I would love to have you come back on and talk a little bit more. I don't know what will, make more specific as far as the topic itself, but you're very knowledgeable. You know your stuff clearly. As an engineer, and God bless you to be in that space to even have some to do with the vaccination and just the world that we're in. And so, God is doing some amazing things in your life. And so
Thank you.
keep him first, keep him present, and he'll continue to elevate you and you'll do well. So, Jessica, thank you so much. Was there anything else you wanted to share about your product before we end this segment?
Make sure you try them, and if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Absolutely, y'all. Y'all heard it first. Check it out. Her information is coming across the screen. She is the founder of Logan's Love. I love it, and especially now that I have the meaning behind the name, I think it's even more special. And then her website is there. Her Instagram is there. And then that promo code, y'all, get in on that 20% off. Journey 20. Thank you so much. Once again, y'all, Sharon DeCosta's in the yard. I was joined by Miss Jessica Lassane. And thank you again, Jessica. I'm going to have you back on soon, okay?
Okay,
Thank you
yes,
for
I look
joining
forward to
me.
that.
Thank you. I'll talk with you soon, okay? Thank you and have a good weekend. All
Thanks, you
right,
too.
y'all. I'll be right back with y'all. Sharon DeCosta, she's in the yard. I was joined by the beautiful Jessica Lassane. Make sure you check out her website, y'all. Check it out. Check out her product. I will vouch for the product as well. I've tried the product. I have the product. She does exceptional job and exceptional work. And again, the impressive part of it is she makes it all herself. She's an engineer. That's her background. She knows the ingredients that she's putting in her product, and it's all made with love, in love. So definitely check her out. Thank you again, Jessica. I'll talk with you soon. Stay tuned, y'all. I'm going to close out in just a moment. Sharon DeCosta, she was in the yard. Yay, y'all. I am back. Oh my gosh. Anything that can happen will happen when you're live. So you just got to go with it. Jessica, she did an awesome job, y'all. Y'all heard it first. She has a wonderful product. So you have to make sure to check her out. All right, y'all. That's it for today. I came in. I said I wasn't going to be here long, but I came in here long enough to hopefully empower. You were informed, and definitely you had the wonderful opportunity, along with myself, to look at Miss Jessica Lassane's product, Logan's Love. Make sure you check her out. All right, y'all. I'm going to end it today. I think I said enough. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back in the yard in a couple of days. I say maybe another week. I don't know. I'll be back. But you have to make sure you share. You have to make sure you have to make sure you tell somebody that Sharon DeCosta was in the yard. And I'm actually going to take a moment to put my information across, because I always get the email like, Sharon, you didn't put your information across. So there it is. Reach out to me. Reach out to me for my life coaching services, for my program, Building a Better You. review for the book again, Amazon.com. Check it out. And then definitely make sure you check out Jessica's website. Check out her product, y'all. She has some good stuff. She has wonderful butters, lotions, and the soaps. They're all awesome. And I was really impressed with the fact that she created something that could speak to or help mothers that may have a child or themselves that are experiencing sensitive skin or eczema or anything that's causing any sort of irritation too. So definitely check her out. Absolutely. Another one that I will endorse. Absolutely. So hopefully you checked out last recording. Olivia joined me and Olivia came into the yard and she shared some wonderful tips and pointers on real estate and buying your property, what you should look for, what you shouldn't look for, especially as a first time home buyer. So make sure you check out that previous recording as well. So, okay, y'all, I am going to shut it down for today. Sharon DeCosta was in the yard. I came in, I always try to close out with the Isaiah 54:17 to 54:16. God reminds us that it's him that created the blacksmith that formed the weapon, and the weapon did just exactly what it said it was going to do, what it was designed to do. But God then goes on to tell us in Isaiah 54:17 that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. And he even takes it a step further and says, and every tongue that rises up against us, he will condemn. And that's a beautiful thing, y'all. Indeed it is. So yes, stay tuned. I started this out with the wonderful Ask Sharon question. I gave the descriptions of 7 type of women, young females behaviors, if you would. I went over that today, and then I even gave 3 of the 7 just nuggets that you hopefully can take with you that ties into the virtues that are talked about in the Bible as well. So understanding that a lot of what I say is all in the Bible, y'all. It's not me just making up something off the top of my head, but I'm definitely giving you my perspective as well. So again, Sharon DeCoster was here. I came in, I did what I said I was going to do, and that was to empower. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you once again, Jessica, for joining me. And you all have a great afternoon and walk in the authority that you have been given on this week. Thank you again, Sharon DeCosta. She was in the yard. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.